The United States government is concerned that President Bola Tinubu is continuing the massive corruption trend of his predecessors, given his ministerial appointment of Abubakar Bagudu, a corruption-tainted associate of former Nigerian dictator Sani Abacha. There was no significant difference between Mr. Tinubu's nearly one-year performance and that of his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, according to a report that outlined the American government assessment and scorecard of Nigerians' human rights practices. Despite many reports that Mr. Baguda was complicit in his deceased principal's looting of hundreds of millions of dollars from the government treasury, the majority of which has been repatriated to Nigeria by several nations, including France, UK, and Switzerland, Mr. Tinubu still forwarded Mr. Baguda's name as a ministerial nominee to the Senate for screening and confirmation. Bola Tinubu turned a blind eye to Mr. Baguda's widely reported transgression, even entrusting him with the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning last August. No member of the Senate raised objection about the nomination of the former Kebbi governor, despite his infamy with Mr. Abacha, as they unanimously okayed his appointment, to the shock of many Nigerians and allies of the West African nation, including the United States. In August, President Tinubu appointed former Governor Abubakar Baguda the Minister of Budget, despite Baguda's widely reported history of helping then-President Sani Abacha steal hundreds of millions of dollars from the government in the 1990s. The US government stated in its 2023 country's report on human rights practices in Nigeria. Mr. Baguda, unfettered by his ministerial position, continued to leech on government funds, initiating moves to block France from repatriating 150 million loot stolen by the late Abacha unless he got a 20% cut. Mr. Baguda claimed he had an interest in the stolen funds and will only back down if paid $30 million, a condition Bola Tinubu government was compelled to agree to since it was determined to recover the stolen funds. The move to block the repatriation underscored Mr. Baguda's brazenness and probably influence on the incumbent president, who still allows him to occupy the ministerial position. That Mr. Baguda is allowed to function as a key member of Mr. Tinubu's administration despite his documented financial misdeed has done little to inspire the US confidence that Mr. Tinubu will be any different from his predecessors. Long before he was elected governor, prosecutors in the United States and the United Kingdom said Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State was a bagman for the infamous late military dictator Sani Abacha. Mr. Abacha, who died in 1998, was a relentless kleptocrat who stole an estimated $2.2 billion from the country's coffers. Court documents revealed that Mr. Baguda was the gas that powered Mr. Abacha's extensive money laundering operation. Just hold on and keep listening. I will also talk about another bagman in Abacha's regime that helped him to launder that money. But first of all, let's focus on Mr. Baguda. Please stay with me. Working with some members of his own family, top members of the regime, and Mohammed, Mr. Abacha's eldest son, prosecutors claim that the governor used an intricate network of phony companies to siphon several millions of dollars from the government treasury into offshore bank accounts operated by himself and the Abachas. The money laundering operation Mr. Baguda ran on behalf of Mr. Abacha are well documented in suits filed in the United States and the bailiwick of Jersey, a British crown dependency in the Channel Islands. But what many Nigerians may not know was that Mr. Baguda, who now enjoyed immunity from prosecution by virtue of being a governor and a minister under Tinubu administration, was once arrested for his role in the Abacha money laundering enterprise and spent 6 months in a US federal detention. Although British and American investigators believe Mr. Baguda's money laundering operation spread across multiple jurisdictions and was broad, he needed the assistance of his wife and elder brother, Ibrahim. His preferred destination of concealing the illicit fund on behalf of the Abacha was Jersey. Mr. Baguda's attraction to Jersey was also the cause of his trouble. In 2003, 5 years after the death of Mr. Abacha, it became clear that the military tyrant stole billions of dollars from the country's treasury. Because some of these illicit funds were traced to Jersey, authorities of the island nation requested the help of US authorities to arrest and extradite Mr. Baguda, who at the time had lived in Texas for 3 years. Mr. Baguda was subsequently arrested and kept in federal detention for 6 months while awaiting extradition to JC to answer questions about funds traced in the account of Doravi Properties Corporation, a company managed by Baguda himself and Mohammed with accounts at Deutsche Bank International, JC. But before he was handed over to the authorities at New Jersey, Mr. Baguda quickly negotiated a deal with the US and the JC authorities to return more than $163 million of the allegedly laundered asset to Nigeria in exchange for JC's withdrawal of the extradition request and its return to Nigeria, a court document said. The court document is a January 2019 ruling of the U.S. District Court of Columbia between the U.S. government versus the assets held in Doravi Properties account 800209796 at the Deutsche Bank, represented by Ibrahim, who is the only person still laying claims to the $287 million in the account. The court document explained that after the U.S. government filed a civil forfeiture of the asset in the said account, several people made claim to the asset, all of which were struck out. The only remaining third-party claim in this litigation is Baguda's. Ibrahim asserted claim to certain defendants' assets, which is based on an annuity he received from investment portfolios in which the defendants' assets are held. Following the deal with JC and the United States government, Mr. Baguda was released on bond and repatriated to Nigeria to face trial. Evidence gathered in New Jersey and in Switzerland were also sent to Nigeria to aid Nigeria's Attorney General in his trial. However, since his return, he has not been questioned over his involvement in the Abacha loot, but was instead cleared to contest in 3 different election cycles, 1 as a senator and 2 as a governor, all of which he won. Before we talk about another Sani Abacha's Bagman who is close to Bola Tinubu, let's look at Bagudu's current role in the Tinubu government. Bagudu, who is a convicted criminal for helping Abacha launder $2.2 billion, is the current Minister of Budget and Planning. His ministry's job is to help prepare annual budget of the federal government and processing of annual budget of parasitas organization, preparation of supplementary budget estimate. So, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu was responsible for planning the budget for the purchase of 5 billion presidential yacht. Of course, you heard that right. Most importantly, the supplementary 16 trillion naira for the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. This project was not captured in the Appropriation Act. It wasn't vetted by the Senate. I mention this project because it leads us to the second man who is close to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tinubu called him my confidant, Govt Chogri. Govt Chogri is a Nigerian-born businessman of Lebanese descent. He is a founder of the Chogri Group, whose multi-billion-dollar assets span construction, manufacturing, real estate, and hotels. The Chogri brother also owned the prestigious Eco Hotel and Suites, high-tech construction company. Please take note of this company that I just mentioned, this high-tech company that I just mentioned, because we will come back to it. They are also behind the over $6 billion Eco Atlantic project, which is an entire reclaimed coastal city built in Lagos and is reserved exclusively for high net worth individuals. Take note also of this Eco Atlantic. Mr. Chogri was convicted in 2000 of money laundering and aiding a criminal organization. In the 1990s, he set up accounts with Elzey's Rock Bank in Geneva for the Abacha family, enabling them to benefit from illegal transfer of over $120 million from the Central Bank of Nigeria. He later paid $600,000 in fine and $66 million to the Nigerian government. The United States Justice Department had convicted Govt Chogri for election manipulation. Chogri was meant to pay $1.8 million to resolve the allegation that he, with the assistance of others, provided approximately $180,000 to individuals in the United States that was used to make contributions to 4 different political candidates in the United States election. Chogri accepted responsibility for his role and conduct that resulted in violation of the Federal Election Contributions Law between June 2012 and March 2016. You may be wondering why I'm talking about the US election. During the run of the 2023 presidential election campaign, Tinubu visited France and was spotted with the Chogri family, sparking off rumors of Nigerian election manipulation. It is reported that moments after Abacha died, Tinubu developed a very close ties with the Chogri family. You all know how the 2023 presidential election ended. Of course, you all know the controversies surrounding the 2023 presidential election that bettered in Bola Tinubu as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Connect the dots. The controversial Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway was awarded to the high-tech company. Remember I told you to take note of this company. This company is owned by Govt Chogri. There was no competitive bidding for this contract. Tinubu awarded this contract to his friend, his ally, and his confidant without the Senate vetting the contract. The project was awarded to them due to the fact that the high-tech company will fund the project. According to the federal government, they did not allow a competitive bidding for this project because the high-tech group will source the fund for the project, complete the project. It is expected that every Nigerian or everyone that applied that road will pay a toll gate of 3,000 naira. After toiling the project, the high-tech group will now hand over the project to the federal government. This was the sole reason why this project was handed over to the high-tech group. This is according to the federal government, but this is all lie, blatant lie. Now, this is the reason why I said it's a blatant lie. The Nigerian government, through the Bureau of Public Procurement (BPP), has granted High-Tech Construction Company Limited the go-ahead to seek the approval of the Federal Executive Council for over 1 trillion naira for the first phase of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. The High-Tech Construction Company, which is handling the project, had requested 1,101,771,270,871 naira and 1 kobo only, inclusive of 7.5% VAT for the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road Corridor Phase 1, Section 1 from Ahmadu Bello Way to a local village area in the Lekki Peninsula. I hope you are taking notes and connecting the dots of what is happening. According to the document titled Certificate of No Objection for Award of Contract from the BPP dated February 23, 2024, the section of the road is 47.474 km. The document was signed by Mahmoud Ahmadu, Director General BPP, and Engineer Azayaji Yusufu, Bureau of Public Procurement. The document partly reads, the Bureau of Public Procurement BPP, having examined your request and all the documents forwarded, confirmed that the project has satisfied all due process requirements for issuance of a no objection to proceed to seek Federal Executive Council FEC approval for the award of the contract. The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Way original plan was rerouted, thereby affecting Landmark Beach, owned by Igbo businessman Paul Owunibe. An argument is being made that this realignment of the coastal highway was meant to favor Govt Chogri, who own Eco Atlantic, which is a property adjacent to the Landmark Beach. Remember I told you to take note of this Eco Atlantic. It is being argued that Govt Chogri wants to push Landmark Beach out of business, and this was made possible by Tinubu and the realignment of the coastal highway. Sani Abacha was able to launder that much money out of Nigeria via inflated contract, is being reported. Atiku Bagado and Govt Chogri, two of Abacha Bagmen, now close allies to Bola Tinubu, one responsible for preparing budget and another executing contract. Nigerians, God will keep all of us alive to experience the end of this ring of criminality. Thank you for watching. Please ensure you like, subscribe, drop your comment reaction in the comment box. I will see you in the next video.